What's going on, y'all? This is BMOC. Now tune into BMOC.TV. Tonight is a solo show. I want to dedicate tonight just answering the questions from the people who support us, who watch us every week. Sometimes we don't have a lot of time to answer a lot of the questions, so I kind of want to dedicate tonight's episode just to do that, all right? So let me just adjust some things here. Cool. So yeah, wait for everybody to log in now. We're gonna discuss Remy Ma, Nicki Minaj, Papoose, Kaya, all that. I don't even know why she's point of discussion. We're gonna discuss all that. Let me wait to see everybody gets in. I'm on now. Shout out to everybody in the Facebook group. Shout out to everybody's been rocking with us. So tonight, I guess it'll be random questions. Ask me any question you want in terms of pop culture. I'm gonna do my best to answer it honestly, as honest as I can. We're gonna have fun tonight. Again, shout out to everybody who's been supporting us in the group. And yeah, man. So last time we was on the show, shout out to the Shine, shout out to Drew. We were talking about Sheether. Talking about just the response that I got from not only the, the rap community, but just pop culture in general. I feel like people became, hip hop fans overnight. It's like, I don't know. I feel like everybody's just is so, focused on the beef, which is dope. I mean, that's part of hip hop. It's a lot of people. You know what? I'm gonna go live with this. Let me just go Facebook Live here. I want to do this. I want people to hear what I'm saying here. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm gonna put this on live video right now for the Facebook feed. Okay. Shout out to everybody who's watching the camera in. See if I can get this in here. This good. Okay. Holla. This is live, people. Okay. This is like Rock. Remember Rock? The old show Rock. Y'all, nobody watch Rock? Okay. Shout out to Morgan. Morgan, I know you got mad questions for me. So shout out to Morgan. Morgan's gonna have mad questions for the rest of the night. Morgan's gonna be like, so I know you're talking about Nicki, but what about Michael Jackson, the documentary coming out? Morgan's gonna have like mad questions. But shout out to her. So let's see. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Okay. All right, cool. Everybody make sure I'm good. Have your questions ready. I'm answering all questions. Shout out to Quincy. Shout out to D-Note. Shout out to Morgan. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in. We're going to get into this tonight. Nicki Minaj. Okay. This right here. Cool. Okay. So, Nicki Minaj. Remy Ma. Shout out to Kim Minaki. So let's get into this. I want to go live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm live on Facebook. All right, so let's get into this. So, first of all, for those who aren't aware, Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma have been, doing some diss tracks back and forth. It's kind of been a long time coming because, back before Remy came out, I don't know if you remember like the rap DVDs, but Remy and Nicki were really familiar with one another, especially Nicki coming up in the rap game. And Remy already kind of being at that high level with, Conceited and whatever, the Lean Back remix. I mean, just being discovered by Big Pun really put her on a different level. So she was doing it. And meanwhile, there wasn't really none other female rappers in the game other than the ones that came out in the 90s. So Little Kim, the Foxies, etc. And Lauren. So you kind of had that camaraderie between Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma. Remy Ma goes to jail, shoots the friend, allegedly or whatever. I don't know what was said in court. But her friend gets shot over having, Remy Ma thinking that the friend stole money. Long story short, Remy Ma's in prison for, 6 to 7 years, and Nicki Minaj gets with Young Money, Cash Money, and kind of takes over the rap game from the female's perspective, the women's perspective. And she's been on top ever since. Remy Ma comes out, and people are already pitting them against each other because they know what Remy Ma was before she was in prison to what Nicki Minaj is now. And I feel like, at one point, Nicki was saying free Remy, and I can't wait to do a song with her. But that never happened. I think Remy Ma said in a radio interview that the song that Nicki wanted Remy Ma on featured Foxy Brown. And I believe Remy Ma and Foxy Brown have also had some behind the scene issues. Remy had issues with Kim. Remy had issues with a lot of people. So that's why that track didn't happen. I think Remy didn't want it. I think Remy wanted to do it because of Nicki, but didn't want to do it because of Foxy Brown. So that record never happened. So every record from all the way up, from all the songs on her and Fat Joe's album, from the Hot 97 freestyle, from the Wait a Minute freestyle, people are assuming that when Remy Ma's talking her, spinning her bars, that she's throwing shots at Nicki. And that's been on every front. And Remy Ma has stated that I like Nicki. You know, when I diss people, I say people's names. Well, Nicki must have felt some kind of way because Nicki on the song Make Love with Gucci and I think the Jason Derulo record, she was throwing some shots and talking about female rappers who aren't selling records, who are flopping. And the last female rapper who would people consider a flop would have been Remy Ma's album with Fat Joe that did like 20,000 some units, but it's independent. So Remy used this opportunity, put out Sheether over the Ether beat, and we kind of broke that down on our last episode. And so in terms of Sheether, I liked Sheether. Sheether was cool. You know, as a music business executive, I would have loved if it was an original beat, something that she owned 100%, so that, you know, she can stream off of it, you know, collect royalties, even make it as a deluxe version of Plato y Pluma, or however you say the album, and she could have made more money off of it. But nevertheless, Remy was like, let me put this out, Sheether. It was good. I liked it. A couple of flows were in the pocket. So be it. So then, no response from Nicki, really. She's sending some tweets to Trey Songz because he's liking stuff, and she's sending tweets to Ebro. We really didn't hear a full response from Nicki to Remy Ma. Then Remy Ma drops another one. Another one, to me, I thought was trash. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was trash. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a big fan of Remy Ma. I love the lyricism. But I thought that it wasn't good. I thought that Sheether was enough, and she should have kind of just rode that wave until Nicki Minaj responded. But the other one was trash, and everybody said it was trash. I think even Remy felt it was trash. So then we wait a few more days, and then Nicki Minaj puts out 3 songs. That we're assuming are a part of her next album, which should be coming out really shortly. And so the first one was No Frauds, which had Drake, had Wayne on it. All right, so the verse was okay. I respected the fact that Nicki Minaj trying to respond. The problem I have with this beef isn't even Ricky Minaj. So I'll say Ricky Minaj. Isn't even Remy Ma or Nicki Minaj. It's these fans, it's the social media I have a problem with, because people nitpicked No Frauds like every single thing people nitpicked. So we've somehow made these imaginary rules for beef. Y'all wanted Nicki Minaj to respond. No, her verse on No Frauds was nothing close to Sheether. Lyrically, Remy Ma is better than Nicki Minaj, right? I'm saying this. In a battle, I'm saying Remy Ma is winning the battle lyrically. Even if you add another one in there, which I thought was trash, Sheether was enough for her to win this battle. Nicki Minaj responded with a record they was going to play on the radio, a record that probably was already made, and she just added a verse to diss Remy Ma. All right? But you people out here who don't like Nicki for whatever reason, nitpicked it to death. First you say, oh, well, No Frauds is whack because she has Drake and Wayne on it. These are the same people who like Hit 'Em Up when Tupac had 80 of the Outlaws on one song dissing Biggie. Drake and Wayne didn't even say anything about Remy Ma. They just were on the song, you know, Wayne's rapping about being high somewhere. Drake's rapping about being in love with Nicki. You know, the typical Young Money feature verse, all right? And Nicki is dissing Remy Ma. So we can't even factor in Drake and Wayne. It wasn't like they're taking shots at her. They're not talking about anybody. They're just talking about clubbing and dancing and typical Young Money bars. But you people see Drake and Wayne on it and say, oh well, she got Young Money to be with her to intimidate Remy Ma. Like that's stupid. They didn't say anything about her. But y'all love to hit him up. Y'all love hit him up when Tupac had his boys do 3 verses on Biggie. But that's cool. Cool. Then you guys say, oh well, Nicki Minaj was late. When Takeover came out, it was during Summer Jam, 2001 in June. Nas responded on Jay-Z's birthday, December 4th. That's like 6 to 7 months after Takeover. Nicki responded a week later. So if y'all loved Ether, how is Nicki Minaj late when it literally, she waited a week, she was in Paris, she was doing other stuff, but yet we all love Ether, and that was like 7 months later. It's like, I don't get where these imaginary rules come from. You know what I'm saying? It's like, then you guys say, oh, well, Nicki Minaj only did 1 verse about Remy Ma. Well, if you listen to Takeover, Takeover was 1 verse about Nas. Jay didn't do an entire song about Nas. It was 1 verse. But that's cool. And it's cool because you like Jay. You like Nas. You like Tupac. You love these people. So it's okay for them to do whatever they do. But as soon as you hate someone, we now create these imaginary battle rules for Nicki Minaj. I'm seeing this as a person that's telling you that Nicki is losing. But I'm not going to be, you know, biased. I'm going to be objective. Effectively, what are we talking about? If we're talking about sales and critical acclaim, Nicki Minaj. If we're talking about who's more lyrical and their skill level, we're talking about Remy Ma. You could not like either of them or like one of them and still call the battle down the middle. Okay, but these imaginary battle rules, I don't know where that's coming from. Like I don't get it. This is like we want to change the rules up when we don't like someone, but it's okay for somebody else. It's crazy. Biggie is like my favorite rapper. Biggie never said Tupac's name in the record. Well, he said, you know, if Faith had a twin, she probably had 2 Pacs. But even that was just a bar in a featured verse. So if you count that as a diss, Jay-Z was on that song. That's Brooklyn Finest. So does that doesn't matter either? It's just like, this is, what are the rules? And people are making up rules. And that's why I feel like those who come up with these rules, you can't be rap fans. You can't be hip hop fans. You can't be if you are making up these rules that came out of complete thin air. So let's go down the list. Nicki Minaj, this is Remy Ma in a radio song that has been done before. Jay-Z did it with Takeover, 1 verse. Nicki Minaj responds a week later. Nas responded 7 months later. They're from Queens. Ether is probably regarded the best diss record of all time. I mean, of course, you can do the Bridges Over and Takeover, but for the most part, when somebody says you got Ether, you know. And then the whole, she put people on the song. Drake and Wayne didn't come at Remy. They were on a song with her. The Outlaws came at Biggie, and everybody loved it. It was 3 parts. You could literally play No Frauds and mute Drake and Wayne's parts. It doesn't mean anything. If you mute out the Outlaws, you're muting 80% of the track. So it's just like we can't be biased here. Nicki is losing. Let her lose because you didn't like the bars. Say, you know, her rhyme pattern was whack. Say her flow was off. But don't use these imaginary things. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed, man. Like, just be objective. You know what I'm saying? Be objective. So Nicki puts out No Fraud. And again, we saw a picture of Wayne, Drake, and her in the studio about 2 months ago. So that's probably a song that was already done. She just put her verse on it. It's not a complete diss record. So again, oh, this got me. So then once Nicki posts the lyrics of No Frauds on her Instagram, she had a big paragraph about why she did it. You know, she was in Paris. You know, Remy Ma's a peasant. I'm challenging you 72 hours to put out your own hit record. You know, at Cash Money, we don't do diss records. We do hit records and dish you on them and all that. So I posted it in the Facebook group, and people were like, that's corny of Nicki to do. Nicki is corny. She should leave all the bars and all the disses in a song. Okay, so was y'all mad when Tupac did like 10 magazine interviews dissing Biggie? Were you upset when Jay-Z with the Hot 97 and diss Nas for an hour and a half? Were you upset when Nas, because he couldn't do the Dumber Jam, he couldn't do Summer Jam, lynching Jay-Z, he with the Power and dissed Jay and Nelly and Noriega for an hour and a half? Is that cool? Was it cool when 50 Cent does post? It's like the whole Free Curly thing when 50 Cent was posting pictures of Rick Ross being a correctional officer. Those weren't on songs either. Like, they did diss records and they talk trash. So Nicki is wrong for talking trash. It's just like, just say, I don't like Nicki Minaj, and no matter what she does, I'm not gonna like. If Nicki Minaj breathes wrong, I'm going to comment on it. Just say that. It's making the beef corny. I mean, the beef kind of always got corny, but but it's like, yeah, man, it's just like, just say that. Like, Remy Ma is winning, okay? But you guys aren't giving her the point she's supposed to get. It's like when people say Michael Jackson is dope because he moonwalks. It's like, Michael Jackson is dope, but he's dope for more things than moonwalking. So that's it. So yeah, so right now, as it stands, Remy Ma, I don't know how to count the rounds, I guess. What are the rounds? Are we counting Make Love as a diss, I guess? I mean, in terms of the battle, Remy Ma is ahead. She's ahead on points. And so, you know, now that Nicki's put out No Frauds, it's in Remy's court. Remy said a couple days ago before No Frauds came out that she now wants to unify with Nicki or whatever, or end the beef. But I'm assuming she said that because she thought Nicki wasn't going to respond. So I still don't even get where the whole you have 40 hours to respond thing comes from. Like, what diss record in the world came out 48 hours after somebody? Like, who's ever done that? These imaginary rules. Like, who's responded to somebody literally a day later or 2 days later? Like, I don't get it. So we'll see what Remy does. But yeah, man, you know, No Frauds I mean, it's catchy. No Frauds is catchy. The hook is catchy. It's kind of like I Don't Have No Type by Ray Shmurda, but just a different flow and different words. So yeah, man, it's just we just gotta call it down the middle. That's my only pet peeve, is that we're not big because it's like an underdog story, right? Because, you know, we like to say sales don't matter until we're talking about our favorite rappers. So if you're a fan of Nicki, you're gonna say Remy's not on her level because, you know, Nicki Minaj sells out stadiums. But if you're a fan of Remy, you're gonna say, oh, well, sales don't matter. You know, it's all about the bars, it's about the lyricism. If you're a fan of Jay, you're gonna say Jay won the war because Jay-Z is a super duper mogul, owns Tidal, Rock Nation. He beat Nas in the war, right? But if you're a bigger fan of Nas, you're gonna say, well, Nas beat him lyrically, and he was a better battler. And even though Jay-Z may have more money, Nas is more critically acclaimed. It's like you guys switch your stats and switch your opinions based on who you like. You don't call things down the middle at all. If you think Jay beat Nas, then you're thinking that Nicki right now is beating Remy. You must be thinking that. I mean, if you thought Nas won, then you must think Remy Ma's winning right now. It's like it's pretty much comparable in terms of them being, you know, females in the game and their statuses right now. So, I mean, it's really comparable. I mean, before TakeOver, we hadn't heard Nas for like a year and a half. He'd been gone. He wasn't on top. So this is probably the closest thing you could compare to Jay-Z and Nas, which is funny why they're using the Ether beat. So I want to talk about this. I want you guys to leave comments in the Facebook, whether in the Facebook video or YouTube, about how you feel about No Frauds. Let's go to the YouTube chat right now, which is lit. Shout out to you guys. What are your thoughts on Foxy Brown dissing Remy Ma? I like Foxy. I like Foxy Brown. I like BK Anthem. I like Hotspot. I like Ain't No with her and Jay. I just don't feel like, because, you know, Remy Ma set a bar about Nicki. She was just Nicki, saying you're telling stories, talking about me to a deaf, you know, woman, which, you know, Foxy Brown, you know, was deaf in 1 ear, 2 ears. I can't call it. But I mean, Foxy Brown is like, she's just jumping in. I mean, Foxy, the record's okay. It's nothing I'm trying to bump. It's just like, come on, Foxy. Do we really need more people to jump into this? Like, do we really need more people to really Like, come on. Like, Kaya's rocking a Papoose t-shirt, talking about she's in love with like the whole thing just going left. It's like a bad episode of Love and Hip Hop LA. You know, it's like it's just no. Foxy Brown's record was cool, but I've heard Foxy do better. And to be honest with you, Foxy's not gonna sound the same because she's had the hearing impairment. So I mean, she's hearing impaired. Like I can't. How can you talk bad about that? You know. But I didn't need it. I don't need it. So. Donita, I can't call it, man. I can't call it, man. I can't call it. Shout out to J. Cole. So let's go through. Oh, shout out to the Brooklyn shirt. Oh, thank you. I actually bought this in Soho. So Soho, Manhattan. Women empowerment. Maybe Remy will do it now. Do what? Okay. Tia, I'm gonna get to my homegirl Sierra. So let's break down Remy Ma for a second. People are saying Remy. Some people who are saying that Remy Ma's washed up. Okay, Remy Ma did All the Way Up with Fat Joe. It was a platinum selling single, right? So with a platinum selling single, you not only have album sales and downloads, you also can tour off of it. She also got 2 Grammy nominations off of All the Way Up. Even got Jay-Z. Him and Fat Joe had like hated each other for like 15 something years. Got him on it. That led to Fat Joe signing a Roc Nation management deal. All this stuff came from All the Way Up. Then they had a fire album that dropped a week right before Sheether. For those who aren't hip out there, for those who don't keep your ear to the street, the album with her and Fat Joe is phenomenal. Money Showers, A Little Heartbreak. They got 7 Mills there. It's a fire album to me. And so, but they're and the one thing is they're 100% independent. So for all the people out there who love Chance the Rapper, the Chance the Rapper is so independent. You should love what Remy Ma's doing too. So her and Fat Joe did what, 30,000 K independent. Do the math, man. If this independent, that means they paid themselves. 30,000 units times $9.99. Like you're talking about close to 3 stacks. Just off of album sales alone, not including the single sales, and not including the touring they've been able to do with it. So when people say Remy Ma should hang it up, I'm like, hang it up for what? She's already made. If you do the figures, and you obviously can't count an overhead, she's probably done what, $500,000-$600,000 off of All the Way Up in the album alone. So yeah, she's not a multi-millionaire like Nicki Minaj is, but I mean, who is making $500,000 who should give it up? Like, who should give up rapping because of that? They're making enough money to rap, not including the Love and Hip Hop stuff. So I think people have to adjust their view of what success is. Success isn't always just Jay-Z. It's like, oh, if you're not Jay-Z, you should quit. It's like no. There's like 10 different tiers between you and Jay-Z. And we love these artists. We love these artists and we love these people. So we think, oh well, Jay-Z or Beyonce is my level of success. Or Sierra, because Sierra doesn't sell like Beyonce, she should hang it up. But Sierra can still pull in 100K a tour. It may not be 5 million a tour. She could probably do 100K, 200K a tour. If you were doing 200K, pop locking and singing, would you give it up? Just because you're not selling like Beyonce? So we really have to adjust our view of success and be realistic. Whether Nicki Minaj is going to break, I think, Billboard records for having the most singles on Billboard. She's going to beat like Aretha Franklin or something like that. People saying, oh, well, most of those songs are features. Okay, they're still her song. Like, you don't know why somebody loved the song. They could have loved the song just for Nicki's rap. They could have hated her rap, but regardless, she's a part of that song. Like, you can't start like just nitpicking over things because you don't like people. It's stupid. So we really have to like just be aware of what we're saying. If you don't like Nicki Minaj, just say you don't like Nicki Minaj. Or if you don't like Remy, say you don't like Remy. But trying to bash Nicki because she's commercially successful and trying to bash Remy Ma because she isn't is counterproductive. When you're listening to a song, does it matter to you that All the Way Up went platinum? Probably not. If you like the song, like just like the music. Because once we get into the business, we really gotta, we have to dial back on what we're saying. But yeah, so yeah. What are the questions? I'm talking about no frauds or trash. Yeah, ask me any question you want. Random questions. Jonathan Parks like, I need a new job. Yeah, like if I had a platinum single that got me 2 Grammy nominations, like how is Remy Ma washed up? I don't get how is that washed up. Like Memphis Bleak would kill for that. Like, Biggie single would kill to have 2 Grammy nominations and a platinum selling single. Like even if the album flops, like she's independent. Like 30,000 units isn't bad if you're independent. That's a lot of records. You know, some people can't even get people to click their video. Like some people, you can't even get people to hear your freestyle. You sold 30,000 units independently, like no middleman. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then she'll probably re-up and get a major label deal for a solo album. That's how you do it. You know, keep it real. YouTube, hit me with some more questions. Fingerprint put Remy's been going at Nicki specifically since she was in jail. So Remy's been waiting for that moment for Nicki to say something slick to her. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's all about the level of competition. Remy Ma comes from a battle rap background. For those that watched the first Family of Hip Hop, y'all know Lady Luck's up there. Well, the first time I saw Remy Ma was on a Smack DVD battling Lady Luck. This is like in the early 2000s. I forgot who won. I think Lady Luck had her round and Remy had her round. But that's where Remy comes from. She comes from that competitive sport. And when she was on Wendy Williams, she was saying that, you know, she was more mad about the things that Nicki was doing in behind the scenes, like trying to block her and saying, you know, Remy shows up to one award show, she won't be there, and all this other catty stuff. So I think Remy Ma kind of felt it was coming anyway. She wanted to kind of jump in front of it. The same thing when Joe Budden had heard Drake's diss on the French Montana song, he jumped in front of it. So, you know, that's just life. That's hip hop, man. That's why we love it. It's competition. Another bad Biggie line. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about Biggie and Gutta. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. Sorry. All right, give me some more questions about what's been going on, man. Let's talk. Anthony Celestin put, could BMOC respond to the post I put on the Tupac's overrated? When y'all compared Tupac to Biggie, I said Tupac was a better lyricist. Biggie's lyrics were more immature. I'll post the bad Biggie lines. Okay, see, this is where you about to mess up at. All right. So when we say that Biggie is a better lyricist than Tupac, we have to understand what we're saying. So when you say somebody's a better lyricist, we're saying they are better at putting lyrics together based upon your preference. What I hear when I hear from Tupac fans is that he had more of a balance, right? Like Tupac talk about, you know, thug life on one song, talk about Dear Mama on one song, or talk about, you know, women that he's disrespected, to uplifting women and let's change the community and let's march, right? But Tupac's style was more direct. It wasn't as metaphorical. It wasn't as poetic, so to speak, and I'm saying Tupac wasn't a poem. He had the poem book, but it wasn't anything you had to necessarily break down. It wasn't complicated. Tupac was more like a straight shooter, direct. It was like, Dear Mama, love your mama. You know, Brenda's got a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was direct. Biggie was more like metaphysical, indivisible, individual, critical, political. You know, it was different. It was like Biggie had that style to where it was his flow, the multi-syllables and the metaphors and the similes. It was different. Biggie was more of a complicated writer. And for those who are bigger fans of the East, you know, of the East Side New York type of flow, Biggie catered to that. And Tupac was more direct. So when we mean as more lyrical, we mean is that. We mean Biggie was more in terms of a complicated lyricist. It was harder to kind of decipher sometimes what Biggie was saying. You had to kind of listen to it a few times to get it, because that's how complicated of a writer he was. His flow was just different. That's what made him great. What made Tupac great was just Tupac as a person in terms of his message, his meaning. Where Tupac may have lacked in complexity, he had a bigger message. And where Biggie may have lacked in terms of the messaging, he had more so of the actual pure lyricism. So that's what we mean. You could say, oh, I'm a bigger fan of Tupac. It's not going to change the fact that Biggie was more of a complicated writer. You can point out every bad line you can of Biggie, and I can also point out songs of Tupac that, you know, songs that weren't as complicated, that I feel like he maybe had 20 songs and only like 4 out of them because the rest of them sound the same. I mean, you can nitpick at whoever you want. I just think that Biggie was more lyrical. So in that conversation we had about Tupac being overrated, I don't think he was overrated. I just think it's whatever you like. We have shows all the time about who's over. We had a show about Aaliyah, if Aaliyah was overrated, and I didn't think Aaliyah was overrated. So these shows are really just about breaking down why you like people, and the imprint they've left after they're gone. So that was it. But I'm not gonna like go back and forth and you pick out every Biggie line that you didn't like. That's just like, it's a preference thing. It's all preference. So yeah. What else? JID released his debut album, Never Story, under J. Cole's label. Have you heard it? I have not. I've seen a lot of press over it. Shout out to J. Cole for signing artists. I think it's great. It's just fun. It's just like J. Cole is just he's an anomaly. I met J. Cole the first time I was in New York. I interned for Sirius XM back in 2007 when I was going to Johnson C. Smith University. I stayed up here for the summer. I got a chance to meet J. Cole through a mutual friend, and I think that was during the Come Up days. I think it's just filmed that video, Young Simba, something like that, or Simba, something like that. So I've always been kind of following J. Cole's career, and I think it's dope that he's trying to sign, lyricists and people who are trying to split a story, which I've heard from JID. So I'm looking forward to hearing it. I just have a baby, so it's just hard. It's hard to keep my ear to the street. We have a baby, a newborn. Daniel put, random question: how do you feel about Escape reuniting? I mean, what do you want me to say, man? Candy, I think Candy is dope. I think Candy's a great writer. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of hearing her sing, but I love that song, "We Out in the Club." I think I'm not. That's fire. But I'm a fan of her writing. Tiny can sing. Latasha and them, they can sing. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm not, jumping for joy. If they have a song, I'll check it out, man. I mean, Escape's a great group. It's just not. They just weren't my favorite. They weren't like my top 10 female, girl groups. If you told me In Vogue had a new album out, if you told me Destiny Child was coming back out, if you told me Brownstone had a new album out, let's go. Escape, cool. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Crunk Girl asked me, do you think Lady Luck was being petty when she talked about Remy on the Hip Hop DX interview? I mean, people, Lady Luck and Remy Ma, that's, again, the first time I saw them, they were battling on the DVDs. First time I even knew who either of them were. I mean, you're going to be a smart marketing person, right? If everybody's talking about Remy Ma, if you were the person who they're saying beat her in a battle, you're going to use it for marketing purposes. I mean, she's on the reality show First Family Hip Hop, so you're going to use that. So she could be being petty, or she could just be trying to use it as a marketing tactic. People could say Nicki was being petty for coming at Nicki, and Nicki didn't say her name. It's people use what they use. It's hip hop. So, Remy isn't afraid of a challenge. So nah, I think Layla's just kind of using whatever's at her disposal. It's hard, it's hard marketing yourself. So if you have an angle, use it. Morgan asked me, so how do you feel about Trina and Trick Daddy releasing a joint album? I'm a big fan of Trick Daddy. Believe it or not, I don't look like I'm a fan of Trick Daddy, but I am. I like Trick loves the kids. I like that. I like Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy is so weird. It's like he's a person that's like, you look at it, you're like, I probably shouldn't like his music, but he'll have that song like Thug Holiday or something. I'm like, okay, I kind of feel this. So we'll see. Listen, it worked for Remy Ma and Fat Joe. They had a chemistry together, and they had a great album. So Trina and Trick Daddy, they're like the Miami version of Fat Joe and Remy Ma. So it's dope. It's kind of a weird comparison, but it works. Trick Daddy looking casket sharp lately. Okay, whatever you say, Tyrone. Whatever you say. Faith. Okay, Tyra said Faith is releasing an album with Biggie called The King and I. Looking forward to that. Yeah, shout out to that. Faith is actually one of our clients at the label that I work for. So Faith is dope. And Jada, also one of my clients, has a verse on The King and I, which should be dope. I think it comes out next week, I believe. Actually, though, it comes out this Friday, I believe. Yeah, it should be the 17th. something like that. I should know this. Yeah, it comes out this Friday, so that should be a good project. I don't think there'll be any new verses. I think this will be all verses that you've heard from Biggie before, remixed into new songs with Faith. Kind of like Incredible with Nat Cole and Natalie Cole and all that. So, William Morgan, but will you be purchasing TLC's last album this summer? If they put it out, I mean, didn't they do like TLC had a Kickstarter for an album like 3 years ago, and we haven't seen anything. Like, my thing is, I like TLC. Y'all gonna be mad at me. Y'all gonna be mad at me for saying this. But it's like, what is taking so long for a TLC project? Like, I don't get it. It's this like T-Boz is not really hitting. You know, I can't do it. I don't want to slander anybody. I don't get if it's even happening. Like, they raised like what, over $500,000 for a TLC album, and that's the thing. It's like, but Kickstarter is a great way for people to sponsor projects, right? Sponsor music projects, sponsor movies, sponsor ideas, and so the whole legitimacy comes from the what you do with the money. So if you have a big name like TLC, you know, having a Kickstarter, and we don't see any of the benefits of that, that kind of like makes Kickstarter look bootlegish, so to speak. Like, and it hurts the overall community. So I hope that there's an album that comes out from that. But people are going to be more leery putting their money towards Kickstarter if we can't get people like TLC to put out an album. I mean, look at De La Soul. De La Soul had a Kickstarter, raised the money, put out an album, Grammy nominated. You know what I'm saying? It was like #1 on Billboard charts. That's how you do it. Be more like De La Soul, okay? Be more like De La Soul. That's it. But I don't want to slander T-Boz or Chili. I can't do it. Not while Facebook Live is on. If Facebook Live wasn't on, I would. But I can't. I got to be honest. Do we even need a TLC project? Man, I don't know. I did like fan mail, but if they'll put the album out, it's gonna be called hate mail. Okay, it's gonna be called hate mail. So I don't know. Daniel put, do you think Left Eye's legacy has been overlooked? Yes, I do. Left Eye was one of my top 10 female lyricists, just off of the Donell Jones "You Know What's Up" feature alone. That's probably one of my favorite female verses ever, rap verses ever. Like, it's one top 5 ever. Donell Jones, "You Know What's Up." Yes, I do. I think it's a lot of times too, you're in a group, it's difficult because you don't have to show that solo out, those solo projects to kind of hold you up. So I think Left Eye is kind of grouped in with TLC, which is great. Left Eye was a phenomenal artist. I just think things kind of got a little spacey, a little weird when she put out the album, and then she got with Death Row, and then we know she passed away shortly after that. So I feel like she had more time to really put into that. I think she would have been a definitely dope solo star, but because she wasn't, all we really had to go off of is TLC. So when you have a group, you're gonna get kind of overlooked sometimes because it's for the group. So, you know, that's like asking, is Ralph Tresvant overlooked? I think personally Ralph was the glue of New Edition. Okay, I think so, but he got overlooked. They go like that hate mail. I'm being serious, man. Crunk Girl asked me, what albums are you anticipating this year? What album am I anticipating is definitely Kendrick Lamar. I want to just say this for the record. Last week I was somewhere. I want y'all to note this. Last week I was somewhere. I can't say where I was. And I heard a Kendrick Lamar song. And it had Drew. I want you to hear me when I say this, Drew. It was a Michael Jackson sample. Look over your shoulders, honey. And then a beat dropped. It was a Jackson 5 sample. And it was a Kendrick Lamar song. Now, you know I'm telling you the truth, because you can Google right now and search, and you're not going to find the song because it isn't out yet. So I'm telling you this because I think on Kendrick Lamar's new album, this song is going to appear. So mark my words. Kendrick Lamar's in a song where it starts off with Michael Jackson saying, look over your shoulders, honey. And then a Jackson 5 beat is sampled, and Kendrick Lamar is spitting crazy. Crazy. And while I was at this place that I can't say, It's all music business related. I was like, this is gonna be a crazy album. Then another track dropped, the original beat, and that was even crazier. And it was like 3 different beats in one. So I don't know when Kendrick's album's gonna drop, but when it does, that's gonna be a hard album. So I'm waiting for Kendrick Lamar's album to come out. Drew, I'm telling you, I can't say who played it for me, but the beat started with the "Look Over Your Shoulders, Honey" Jackson 5 joint, and then Kendrick Lamar was spitting, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I was like, "This is bananas!" And he used to flow, and you know how Kendrick has an underwater flow, and it's the choppy. I was like, "What is this?" And then they played the other track, and I was like, "That's it." So I think what Kendrick's gonna do now is he's gonna do more like of the conscious rap, but over some really innovative beats. So it's not gonna be like super duper preachy, but it's gonna have a message over some really abstract beats. But that Jackson one is crazy because it's a lot of stuff with getting stuff cleared. But again, I'm not lying. There's nowhere you're gonna search on the internet you're gonna find that. So I'm telling you this because I heard it. So when Kendrick albums come out, go back to this video and what's up. Now it could be for another artist, but I heard Kendrick Lamar spitting for 3 minutes. So unless it was a DJ Khaled album, I'm pretty sure it's a Kendrick Lamar track. Yeah, so not just a Michael Jackson sample, but a Jackson 5 sample, which is crazy. That's like, you know how many people own that? It's crazy. So what other question do you guys have? What other question do you guys have? Tony Braxton. Should we get a video about Morgan has been campaigning for a Tony Braxton underrated video. Listen, Tony Braxton is appreciated, fam. She got Grammys. We love Tony. Do we really need a Tony Braxton appreciation video? Don't we appreciate Tony enough? I watch the Braxtons every other season with Tamar and Trina and all them. And the girl that be saying the oohs and the yous. She's appreciated. What other album I'm looking forward to this year? Who else is coming out? Who else is dope to me that I really like? Anderson .Paak. I want an Anderson .Paak album. That would be dope. Yeah, I'm kind of just waiting on Kendrick and Anderson, to be honest with you. I'm just like I just been in such a really great vibe of discovering new artists, like the group They, the Powers. Like I'm into a lot of great groups right now, a lot of new groups. So, but in terms of the go-tos, definitely SZA. Shout out to True, SZA's one. And I think Kendrick and Anderson are definitely the top two. I'm looking forward to. Tony had Grammys, they gone. Sierra, my sister, you've been the hate, okay? Okay, change your threshold for the hate, okay? Tony Braxton has unbreak my heart, man. Love should have brought you home last night, okay? Tony Braxton has some hits. You wasn't man enough for me. Pause. Like Tony has the hits, okay? Is that about Nas dropping? Yes. So Nas. I don't know where this Nas album is coming. Last I heard, in the industry talk, it was gonna come out in November. I don't know why that was pushed back. The person could have been lying, but from what I heard, it was supposed to drop last November. So at this point, I have no idea when Nas is gonna drop. I would assume before the summertime, because of touring, but who knows? I think Eminem's come up with an album this year. But Eminem, man, it's tough because Eminem is like one of my top 5 MCs, man. But I just miss Eminem is still spitting. Eminem is still very, very lyrical. Sometimes I think it's sometimes over lyrical, so where the overall song suffers. But I really want that 8 Mile Eminem back, like the Eminem show. At Marshall Mathers Eminem. I want that flow where it was kind of, you understand what he was saying. He was on beat. You didn't have to extend the beat for him. You didn't have to drop the beat. That's what I want from Eminem. But I feel like Eminem is becoming so lyrical that it's hard to finish the full songs or want to play them back or put them in rotation. So I miss Eminem. I kind of throw in rotation. But again, I'm sure he'll have a great project. So Eminem's a GOAT. I wanted a Royce Eminem album. Me too. I was thinking about that the other day. I was listening to Royce da 5'9" on a song with Marv One and Denon Porter called God Bless. And I was like, Royce is incredible. So I want a Slaughterhouse album. I have no idea what's up with the Slaughterhouse album. I don't know what's going on with that, if they're still with Shady. I know Royce is probably still with Shady, but I don't know about Crooked and Joe and Joel. So I don't know, but that would be a great project. What other questions you guys have? He should treat Dre like he's treating he does. Oh God, Jonathan's hating on the Eminem hate. What's going on with SZA's album? I don't know. I have no idea. But speaking of TDE, shout out to SIR. Listen, for those out there who say R&B is dead and everybody's doing trap, check out SIR, man. He is fire. Yeah, it's so many songs. Queen. It's a song called Sugar. Ooh Nah Nah. Like this dude is amazing, and he just signed with TDE. So shout out to SIR. He is dope. Check him out. He's fire. Hopefully he's on a track with SZA for her album. I'm ready for Keisha Cole's album to drop. Okay. All right, Keisha Cole's okay. She's good. He's good. You know, I like Keisha Cole. All right, I'm just not. Oh man, I want the Jasmine Sullivan album. That's what I want. I want a Fire Kiki Riot album. I want a dope Jennifer Hudson album. I would love a great, who else is a powerhouse singer that people talk about? I would love a dope Shantae Moore. I don't know. Like I like Keisha Cole. I just think that her direction has been off. Same thing what I would say with Alicia Keys. Like Alicia Keys and Usher and those artists that are really, really great. But just maybe lead a little bit more direction in terms of appearing to their core audience. I feel sometimes these artists get so big that they forget the foundation. But Usher's last album was great. I just didn't like the single. I think the single gave a vibe where he was going to try to capture this whole young thug, young millennials wave. But the album wasn't that. The album was like Confessions Part 2. If you want to be real about it, I just think the wrong singles came out. So again, Keisha Cole, I'm sure she'll be dope. Hopefully it's some great song direction and we get that. She can definitely sing. All these people can sing and have talent. It's just that sometimes the songs don't connect. How do you feel about Black? Black with the 6 on it. Black is fire. I like Black. Black's cool. I believe he had a verse on Sid's from the Internet solo album that just came out, Finn, which was great. So he's cool. Somebody put, okay, you shady. How am I shady for saying that? I'm being honest. I'm being completely honest. Joey's gonna be album of the year when his album comes out. I'm telling you. Could be. Joey's dope. Oh wait, no, Tamar. Tamar is fire. I loved Tamar's last album. I loved it. I think what gets in Tamar Braxton's way is that people don't like her personality. With the hashtag, you tried it, or get your life, all these, these hashtags. But her voice is amazing. It's phenomenal. So if you haven't, I would definitely check out any Tamar Braxton project. She's had 3 albums, one that came out in the 90s, and the last 2 have come out in the last 5 years. But yeah, I think Tamar's dope. I really want to find a Brandy album, to be completely honest with you. I need a Brandy album. I want a Brandy album produced by Dark Child, Timbaland, and Pharrell. That's what I want. If I had a record company, I would sign Brandy. I would give Brandy $5 million. Brandy, here's $5 million because Brandy has that core audience. I think even 211 was a great album. I think they picked out the wrong singles. I think if they put out that song she had with Mike Will, Do You Know, that would have made a world of difference. And they how can you have a Mike Will beat and not make that a single? I think Brandy has been so mismanaged on a label perspective and a marketing perspective. And I would love to do some business with Brandy. Like I keep saying, like I don't want to be a manager. I love consulting people. I love consulting artists. But Brandy, I would make a lot of time for. I think Brandy is a legend, an icon, and she definitely has at least 2 major albums she could definitely put out and rock. So I would sign Brandy. I would sign Royce. That's two people I would sign. Then you put, do you like Kalani? Do I? Shout out to Atlantic Records. Of course, I love Kalani. Kalani is fire. I think Kalani too. She's one of those artists where I hope she doesn't fall into the underrated thing. Because Kalani is amazing. Every song on her album was dope. Every song on her album could have been a single. Kalani is awesome. She has a song, I'ma go crazy, and I can't really sing like that. But she has a song Crazy. What other song she have? Let me pull up her Fine was dope. I was playing her album for a good 2 to 3 weeks straight. Yeah, Sweet Sexy Savage. Yeah, he had Peace of Mind. Peace of Mind is fire. Crazy is fire. Not Used to It is fire. Do You Dirty is great. Too Much had the Aaliyah vibe, which is great. Gangster that was on the Suicide Squad soundtrack was great. So yeah, Kalani is amazing. Check her out. Morgan asked me, "Are you looking forward to the new K Michelle music?" Yeah, I like K Michelle. The last album didn't connect with me, but the one before that did. With the VSOP single, the very special um, thing she did sample that was great. So I like K Michelle. She's great. Again, K Michelle is like Davies is dope. Shout out to Chief. That's dope. K Michelle is similar to Tamar Braxton, where it's like people get caught up in the personality, not necessarily the music, but both of them really make a lot of great music. So I would check them out. Rap Nerd asked me, is Carter 5 dropping this year? You tell me. You tell me. I don't know when that album is dropping. I have no idea. No idea. I have no idea. I ain't heard nothing. Don't know anything. I don't know. I don't know. Wayne's just kind of in a weird situation right now, man. weird situation. I can't call it. I have no idea. Sid's album had me shook. Yeah, Sid's Fernandez album was really great. Get that, Finn. Get that. Do you listen to Fantasia's last album? I did not. I heard good things, but I did not hear it myself. No. Sorry, I did not. Beyonce and Jay-Z's joint album is their twins. Oh God. Beyonce and Jay-Z, I heard a rumor they're gonna have a joint album together. That's what I heard. I mean, I really think Jay-Z could have his album out now. I feel like Jay-Z could have a dope album right now. I think he probably has a lot to talk about in terms of, fatherhood, what happened with the whole Lemonade situation, the subliminals of Drake. I don't know. I feel like Jay can say a lot and do a lot. I would love for Jay to do an album with, featuring all the artists from Roc Nation. Have a Roc Nation compilation. He signed Jim Jones. In fact, Joe's managing them, and Big Sean, Rihanna, J. Cole, all these great artists from Roc Nation. I would love a really great Roc Nation compilation album where Jay could do 2 or 3 songs, and then everybody else kind of can just do their thing and kind of catapult some of those artists that people may not be paying attention to or that didn't know that was on Roc Nation. So that would be amazing. Did you hear about the show Timbo was doing? Yes, the Pop Game. I've been watching the Pop Game. Thank you for asking that question. Drowning in Tears 279. So, Timbaland, the Pop Game. I have been on record as saying that Timbaland is my favorite producer of all time. I mean, his beats are incredible. Growing up in the 757 Hampton Roads area, shout out to P-Town, Chesapeake, Bob Beach, Suffolk, Norfolk, Hampton, Bad News, all that. Portsmouth, where I'm from, P-Town, all that. Norfolk, I'm trying to make sure I'm saying all the cities. So, Timbaland was a big influence on me, same for the Neptunes, Missing, all that. And so Timbaland to me has always been the king. But if I had a critique of Timbaland, my only critique would be in terms of how the artists are represented on, on his labels. I feel like a lot of times we'll hear about an artist and then they're gone. Like, I don't know what's going on with Nelly Furtado. I don't know what happened to BD Pablo. I have no idea what happened to Bubba Sparks, Jade, even Tink. Like Tink, I had so much hope for Tink. Like Tink was promoted heavy on the Breakfast Club and the radio stations. And if you remember, Rick Ross had that song "Moving Bass," and Tink redid that, and she was, rhyming with Jay-Z and Rick Ross got mad because he didn't want the record out. But sorry, Ross. That track was hot, So Tink had a great start, and then we didn't hear anything from her. So it's like the Pop Game comes, and Timbaland's discovering, new artists. I'm like, okay, well, what about the older artists? What about Tink? Like, what about the other girl that was rapping? She's on that female hip hop show. Y'all probably tell me what she's. I forgot. But so I'm like Timbaland, that's cool, and you're the king, And I feel I have to, you know, approach you with humility as the king of this. But I'm like, where's Tink, man? Give me Tink. Like, can we get a show about Tink? Can we get the Tink game? like, give me like, where's Tink? Where is she? Where is she at? What is she doing? Who is she? Is she coming? I keep seeing mixtapes on Dat Piff, which is great. But I'm like, you know, and if I was an artist being signed to Timbaland, I'm like, okay, well, I can do the pop game and get signed to Timbaland, but am I going to be sitting like right next to Tink? Like, is Tink still going to come up before me? And you know, like, what's happening with Tink is what I'm trying to get at. Missy, I've been on the Missy album for 5 years, man. Missy drop a single and go away for like 24 months, man. 2 years. So, you know, it's just, but I watched the pop game. And I want to give it a shot. You know, people were like, "Oh, it's a watered down version of the rap game." You know, Jermaine Dupri's thing. If you know the history of Jermaine Dupri and Timbaland's beef, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, so it's cool. I watched the pop game. A few of those kids are I don't want to say. A few of the kids I heard on the rap game weren't great. I'm not going to say any kid under 18 is trash. I refuse to say that a teenager is trash. I'm not going to say that. No. But what I'm going to say is that nobody on that show is better than Tink. Nobody on that show is better than Tink. Okay? Nobody. So it's one guy, a tall guy with a guitar, with a ukulele or whatever. He's good. But yeah, but none of them Tink. Somebody said don't do it. Jonathan said, "I will say a teenager is trash." I mean, it's not, I don't know, man. But y'all want me to do? I'm sorry. Jay-Z voice. Chiminaki put, "What do you think about a Timbaland versus Pharrell battle?" It doesn't need to happen. Like, okay, so we did a show a couple weeks ago about the battle between Swiss Beats and Just Blaze. Where Just Blaze lost, right? Because Swiss Beats just had more joints that appealed to the crowd that was there, and Just Blaze wasn't playing the songs in order to win. Like, Just Blaze had more complicated songs. He was just playing them in a weird order. And shout out to Drew for tweeting Just Blaze. I think Just Blaze watched the show. Shout out to my boy Drew on that. So in terms of other rap battles, I think Pharrell and Timbaland styles, even though they came from like the same camp starting off, they were called Surrounded by Idiots. Timbaland, Pharrell, Magoo, and Chad were actually in a group in Virginia Beach called Surrounded by Idiots, SBI. So they definitely have a lot of some of the same influences, but I don't know if that would be a great matchup. I think Pharrell versus Swiss would be a better matchup, and I think Timbaland versus Darkchild would be better. I think because of those monster hits, like Pharrell and the Swiss Beats kind of have like, I don't know. Because Pharrell is so eclectic, I don't even know if that would be a good match. I think Pharrell will beat Swiss. But no, I don't want to see Pharrell and Timbaland. I just, maybe I want to see Timbaland and Darkchild first, because I think they both mastered like the hip hop meets R&B thing, but they also have big pop records with some of the same people, and they both had those huge smash R&B records. You know, imagine Timbaland playing some Genuine and some Aaliyah, some Justin, and Darkchild playing Tony Braxton and Brandy, and you know what I'm saying? And this is whole vibe. So I really want them two to rock. That would be dope. That would be dope to me. And then you know, maybe Pharrell battle Swiss, Timbaland's battle Darkchild. The winners will face each other. How about that? Which will end up being Pharrell and Timbaland. So yeah. Morgan asked me, Lil' Kim's announced that she's working on a new album. How do you feel about that? I mean, Lil' Kim's a legend. You know, it's just, I feel like everybody has their run, and I don't know if Lil' Kim's gonna get that run again. But you know, I'll listen to it. I'll hear it. If it's on Spotify, I'll check it out. What other questions do you guys have? A Destiny Child reunion tour. Andrew put, "You Rock My World." Yeah, man. Listen. If Darkchild is losing, and he starts playing those Michael Jackson tracks, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because Timbaland got songs with everybody. And I'm not going to count that post-Michael album. No, I ain't going to count that. Yeah, like him, 50 Cent was on a Biggie, or no, 50 Cent was on a Michael Jackson track. I'm not counting that. But yeah, if he starts playing those, you know, Dark Child gets that J-Lo bag, that Brandy bag, that Invincible bag, it's gonna be tough. But Timbaland's gonna play Crimea River and, you know, just, you know, the Missy joints and, you know, it's, you know, Beyonce. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So I don't know. What else do you got? Yeah, Nia Supreme. Nia Supreme. Yeah. But yeah, Tink. Where's Tink? Are you interested in hearing a new Latoya Luckett album? I guess. You know, it's not really on my, you know, like I guess. I'm interested in hearing good music. So that's what I'm about. I'm interested in hearing great music. So anything good I'm interested in hearing. I don't know if Latoya Luckett is still into like the music thing like that. So I don't even know if that's something that's even on her mind. Can Lil' Kim still rap with all that Botox on her face? Wow, that's harsh. Jeez Louise, you guys are coming at Lil' Kim's neck, literally. Have you heard anything about new Mila J? No, I haven't. Last time I heard Mila J was on that song with Timbaland, like It Gets No Better, which was fire. It was on the Kings Will Be Kings soundtrack or something, like a year or so ago. So I don't know. I want Aaliyah's unreleased out immediately. Well, first I want Aaliyah's music on streaming services. That can we get the Aaliyah hits on streaming first? You know, the whole Black Ground Records. I don't know what's up with them. I read some article about I think Aaliyah was after her uncle and something about how he's particular in not having, you know, certain Aaliyah music out for mass consumption, which is why Aaliyah's music isn't on streaming. But like we need, like it's a shame I can't hear One in a Million on Spotify. It's the same I can't stream Rock the Boat or Read a Resolution or 4-Page Letter on Spotify. That's just super weird to me. That's so weird. So I don't know what kind of reason or issue that is, but that's crazy. That is crazy. That's when you can't. That's the one thing that could kill somebody's legacy. You can't hear their music in the new form. Like I think her music is available through iTunes. I think, or at least it was. And you can YouTube it, but it's just like no, that's somebody's legacy. That's extra income for her family too. Like I don't even get why you would do that. You know how many? If Tidal did an exclusive deal for Aaliyah's soundtrack, that would get them like 20,000 users overnight. If Tidal could acquire Aaliyah's streaming rights, like they did for print, what? It's crazy. It's crazy, and that in itself shows the impact of Aaliyah. So I don't care what business reason that's for. That's whack, and they need to work that out ASAP. Aaliyah's music should be streaming on every platform, but somebody needs to get it quick. That's a shame. Like I could I could stream all of like oh man, I could stream Afro Man's I Get High, but I can't stream Need a Resolution. I can't stream 4-Page Letter. Like what is up with that? I don't get it. What else? What other questions y'all got? She released a single called Back to Life. Morgan, I can't. I don't know if you're joking or not. I can't even think about what you're saying right now. What do you think about Eminem signing West Side Gun to Aftermath, but John Connor still hasn't dropped an album yet? You know, I don't know. Dr. Dre has his methods. And let me back up for a second. So even what I'm saying with Timbaland and Tink thing, I'm not necessarily saying it's Timbaland's fault. It could very well be, you know, Tink has to drop a mixtape, so I can't say it's a lack of effort on her end. I don't know. Maybe the album isn't right, and maybe with John Connor with Aftermath, maybe his album just isn't right yet. You know, I think it's not wrong for Dre to sign a new act and still have artists that haven't dropped yet. But if the new act drops an album before the person on the label drops an album, then you kind of raise your eyebrows with that. And John Connor killed it on Compton. Same thing with Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak signed the Aftermath too. So I don't know. With Dre, it's kind of a wait and see thing. I mean, we can knock Dre for not putting out certain artists, but the artists that he that he puts out, typically has a huge impact on the game. You know, I mean, minus Nocturnal. You know, that was still a good song. I mean, Missy was on this, so I'm being biased. Y'all remember Nocturnal? Nocturnal? For the name not coming on your block? Daniel said, do you think Janine Aiko, what is her name? Is it Janae Aiko? Is it Janae Aiko or Janine Aiko? I can never, I haven't got her name right in like 5 years. So somebody asked me, should Jaheen, I don't know, Jeremiah, I don't know, should she stick to her soulful sound, or should she make more songs like Maniac? I think it's just her style. I think it's just her style in what she does. I mean, I think Maniac isn't far off from what she does with the soulful stuff. I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need, like, you know, but it's like a broken robot. I don't need you. I don't. But yeah, she just do what she does, man. I mean, it's all the same thing. Everybody's doing kind of R&B trap stuff. So she's done a good one. I like Maniac. I wouldn't bump it, but like that is more like a women empowerment record. But I think she has a great voice. I'm looking forward to hearing more music. Jonathan put, I don't know why anybody would sign to any of these labels that have horrible output. I mean, Aftermath, you could say, has horrible output if you're asking, you know, Stat Quo, if you're asking, you know, Mailman or somebody, like, I don't know. But if you're asking like Kendrick Lamar, his album came out. If you're asking 50 Cent and Eminem and Snoop and, you know, in The Game, I mean, I'm sure they don't have that many complaints. You know what I'm saying? Busta's had an album that came out. So it's kind of who you ask. So sometimes it isn't on Dre. Sometimes it's on the artist. You know, sometimes it's on the actual deal. We don't know the issue. So, you know. Now, if label isn't putting out any artist at all, that's different. But Aftermath's Camp and Shady's Camp, they put out artists that have been dope. They just don't put out everybody. So Jonathan put, that's 5-6 artists over 20 years. Okay, those have been 5 or 6 major artists though. Like those have been huge artists. Like huge. Like the 50 Cent, what he did more than 10 artists combined that would have done. So, you know, 5, 6 major artists like Kendrick Lamar. I mean, that's a huge artist. So Janine's Aiko's album was trash. I didn't think it was trash. You mean the joint with Big Sean? I consider that her last album. Oh, Drew put, somebody mentioned in the Facebook group, what do you think about Jewel's new music? And do you think he can get himself back in the spotlight? I like some of Jewel's music. I don't think it's going to be on that level again. I think what could happen with Jewel's is that I feel like he needs to just focus on his core audience. Not necessarily saying that he can't acquire a new fan base, but I think it's going to be very difficult in these times to kind of recreate that magic. I really feel like he may have missed that peak. Not saying he's not talented. I think Jewel's is fire. And I definitely think he can appeal to people like me. Like I like Jewel's music, but that whole Dipset movement was just something different. And I think, you know, trying to do anything compared to that is going to be tough. Even for Cam, even for Jimmy, even for any of them. Same thing with G-Unit, same thing with Rough Rider, same thing with Rockefeller and all that. I mean, even with Rock Nation, I mean, yeah, Rock Nation is super popping, but just in terms of that movement with Rockefeller, that's like a one-of-a-kind thing. That's like one of the, like Murder Inc. Like you can't, Ja Rule could put out 20 great records next week. It's just not, I mean, do we expect him to do Always on Time or Me and You? Like, do we expect those records? Do we expect Jewel's to come out with another, you know, Dipset anthem? Like, it's going to be tough. So I think he could do well. I just don't know if it's going to be on that same level again. But I like, every time I see a new Jewel's track posted on Rap Radar, I'm clicking it. So, and Rap Radar did not pay me for that. They could, but they didn't. RCA to do anything for Tinashe. RCA is dope. Don't be dissing RCA. RCA is fire. Rap Nerd put, do you feel the current era of social media and memes is hurting the culture? No, I don't think it's hurting the culture. I think it goes back to that rules thing. Like I was having a mini debate with somebody in our Facebook group that was saying Nicki's corny for writing about Remy on Instagram. She should leave it to the rap songs. And I mentioned earlier that back in the day, people were going on radio interviews and dissing people. People were doing magazine interviews. Why can't she put something on social media? When people use, oh, well, Drake, he just Meek on back to back. But I'm like, yeah, Drake also had memes up on OVO Fest doing back to back. So no, I think memes and social media are a part of the culture. They're a part of what's going on now. It's like it isn't 1997 anymore. Yeah, you should have talent other than just being likable on social media. But even that's a talent, because everybody could do it, they would. So I don't think social media is hurting the culture. I think the culture is transitioning into more of a digital presence. Even now, with what I'm doing now, like this would have been possible in 1997. We're arguing on Facebook. It's funny when people on Facebook say, "Oh, I miss how I was. I wish it was 1992 again." But they're typing it on Instagram. They're typing it on Facebook. A platform that wouldn't have been available in 1992. So I just feel like, I don't know, people are just so stuck with this nostalgia thing, man. And I just think that people just have to just like trust the transition of the game. Trust the transition of what's going on, and I get with the times. So that's what I think. But no, I don't think it's hurting anything. I think if anything, it's helping empower more people that wouldn't have had a voice before that. Yeah, Drew. Yeah, even with the whole Nas versus Jay thing, Jay had a pic of Prodigy on the Summer Jam screen. I mean, was that corny? That wasn't in a bar. It's just like, but again, like I said earlier, when you don't like someone, you'll nitpick every single thing that they do. But you won't use those same rules for somebody that you do like. You'll overlook it. I don't think that's right. Morgan said she thinks Ja Rule and Shanti should release a joint album. I think they should too. I think Ja Rule and Shanti are already doing tours together. Why not? They make hits. So sure, why not? Let's do it. A joint album should win. I mean, it's a different marketplace. Like I was talking with Sierra in the music group, and I'm like, you can't knock Remy and Joe for doing songs together. When you think about their biggest hit, it was Lean Back. And so I think even All the Way Up has made probably even almost surpassed that, believe it or not. So like sometimes there's power in numbers. Even if Remy Ma was doing a song by herself, you still have the producer, has to have a beat, she has to be with the label. Nobody's doing it all by themselves. Even Chance being independent. Chance technically may not be independent. Like he may be independent, he's never going to be signed to a label, but he has a great marketing team. He has management staff. He has radio relationships. He has investors. He has people behind. He has a team behind him. Nobody's doing all this stuff yourself. The biggest artists have some of the best teams. So teaming up with someone, or doing a joint project, or doing a feature aren't things you should look down upon. It's called teamwork. It's called I'm dope at this, you're dope at that, let's get together. Nobody's riding each other's coattails. My issues with ghostwriting, I have an issue with that, because I think at that point, if somebody's writing your verse and then you're using that verse as a feature, it's like the talent part is missing. But if you're using your talent adding to somebody else, that's not a problem with me. So I think we have to kind of just classify what should be acceptable. But everybody has to have a team. Basketball, you have a team. Football, you have a team. Rap, you have a team. Even if somebody isn't writing your bars, which they shouldn't be, you still have a dope team. So people just have to stop tripping, man. Stop being so nitpicky. You're nitpicking. That's it. Y'all hear me good? Y'all hear me? What else we got? Okay. Should Sierra retire from music? Why? I just mentioned this earlier. Okay, so people are saying this is again. I will say this one more time. Everybody can't be Beyonce. Everybody's not gonna do Beyonce's numbers. Sierra's albums, even if you say they're a flop, she sells at least 30,000, 40,000 units every album, at least, or higher than that. She's had major songs. Sierra right now probably has a good 6 or 7 hits. Okay, when you have even one hit record, you can really use that one hit record for your entire career. You know what I'm saying? Like if your hit record is, I Love Cookies. let's say your hit record is called I Love Cookies, right? That's your one hit record. Do you remix that I Love Cookies? Do you have a Spanish version of I Love Cookies? Do you start selling shirts? I Love Cookies. You do a collaboration with Nabisco for cookies. You know what I'm saying? Like you have, it's like you have a toy for cookies. Like you use that single and to whatever your advantage is. Everybody can't just make a hit single. Like, yeah, we love to downplay one hit wonders, but like, you know how hard it is to get one hit? Ask some of your favorite people that are your friends that are trying to be artists and ask them what would they do for one hit. So Sierra has like 7 of them things. You know what I'm saying? 7 of them things. So no, I don't think she should retire. I think she should continue to do what she's doing. If she was to transition into modeling or transitioning into having a label, or just continue to tour off her old music, she can. You know what I'm saying? I think Sierra has a lot of, or be a host or something. I think Sierra is super talented. Yeah, she's not, one of the elite vocalists. You know what I'm saying? But she still can do a lot with her presence. And people still care about her. Whether you hate her or not, you care about Sierra in some form or fashion. And if you tell me you don't care about her, I want us to be in the same room and Goodies comes on. If Goodies comes on and your foot isn't tapped, you're lying to kick it. Okay? When Goodies comes on, everybody's foot tapped, man. Everybody's feet is tapping when Goodies comes on. Okay? If you're just not human, if that doesn't happen. Okay. What else? And she's on Epic. Epic's out to LA Reid. Epic's dope. Oh, Future's on Epic. Okay. I know that's gonna work. Them on the same label, but I don't know. Crunk Girl put, did you hear about the Party Next Door and Nicki ghostwriting allegations for her Regret Your Tears? She went ham on him on Twitter. She didn't really go ham on Party Next Door, okay? So for those that don't know, Nicki had a song called Regret in the Tears or something, Regret in Your Tears. It was one of the 2 records she released along with No Frost. And so somebody on Twitter had put, Party Next Door, is underappreciated ghostwriter because he wrote this. And then I think Party Next Door just happened to like a few tweets of people saying that he wrote it, even though I don't think he wrote it. And then Nicki tweeted, I don't know why Party Next Door is liking these tweets. Maybe he thought they were funny. Maybe somebody hacked his Twitter, but he hasn't heard the song a day in his life. He didn't write it. So number one, I don't even think Party Next Door meant anything by a like name. Maybe he just likes every tweet that has his name mentioned. A lot of celebrities will do that. They may not necessarily agree with what you're saying. They'll like it. Like on Facebook, somebody could be saying something ridiculous and I'll like it just to acknowledge that I saw it. Let me actually like what they're saying. So I think that's probably what's the case for Party Next Door. And in terms of ghostwriting, like Party Next Door is more of an R&B cat. So if he's writing an R&B record, that really isn't ghostwriting. Like ghostwriting is more or less of a hip hop thing. I mean, it can be for any genre. Typically so outside of hip hop, if you're a ghostwriter, that means you just weren't credited for it. In hip hop, it can mean you weren't credited or you're writing somebody else's bars. So if Party Next Door was writing, Regretting Your Tears, that wouldn't have been necessarily a ghostwriting thing. That would have just been, him collaborating with her. And he probably would have been properly credited because it's R&B, nobody cares about that. But if he was a writer on No Frauds, and we hear him sing on it, and he has a writing credit on it, then that's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't think she went ham on him. I think Nicki was just trying to clarify. I think Nicki's been tweeting it out, man. She's been tweeting through it. She was tweeting Trey's songs. I'm like, come on, Nicki. Some of this stuff is kind of like, you would have to tweet this stuff, But whatever. It's all good. Miles G put, is R&B dead, sales and radio wise? No, I think radio is just in a transition right now. I think R&B is just in a transition right now. I also think, I don't know why, and I discussed it too, because people ask me questions about the music business. But I don't understand why music fans are so much concerned with what's on radio, especially nowadays. Because it's like radio hasn't been reflective of what's going on musically for a very long time. And so instead of hoping that radio is going to change, we need to start embracing other forms of music, other forms of music consumption, like Spotify, like Pandora, like Apple Music, blogs, YouTube. Like those are the platforms that are going to show you kind of what's popping in the music scene. You could go to Spotify's new R&B playlist and find 1,000 R&B singers that are fire. I found out about SIR through, I think, the Joe Budden podcast, I think, and he was talking about it, and I happened to hear one song, and I was hooked on it. So I don't think R&B is dead. I think R&B, traditional R&B on radio is not represented as well as it was, you know, back in the good old 90s, you know what I'm saying? But I think, you know, it's just in a different transition right now. You know, Beyonce right now is technically an R&B artist. People love to say that she's pop, whatever. I think she makes popular R&B music. I think, you know, you listen to songs like Love Drought and All Night and even Drunken Love. Those are kind of like R&B flavorish type of things. So yeah, radio wise, not represented as much. And then sales wise, you know, Frank Ocean had a huge selling R&B album, probably one of the top 5 R&B selling albums last year. So I mean, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, in terms of R&B, if you want good R&B, go to the new consumption. Go to Spotify, your Apple Music, your YouTube, and find out who's dope. And you'll find some very, very great R&B. I just shout out SIR. I shout out Sid. I shout out Kehlani. Like, those are some dope art. Anderson .Paak, Ro James. I mean, there's tons of great R&B out here. So you just gotta keep your ears to the street and don't let radio dictate what's hot or what you should like. You know, radio's gonna play the same 8 songs a day. You know, so yeah. And hardly anybody's going platinum. I mean, forget R&B. A lot of rappers aren't going platinum. Rock music isn't going platinum. Like, it's one of the things too we gotta really start examining. Like, in our communities, no matter what topic you're talking about, we always think that our community has it the worst. So when we say, oh well, we treat our R&B legends like crap, but they don't do that with rock music. Yeah, they do. Rock music is treated like rockers feel like rock music has been represented for a very long time. They feel like when they're disgusted that Beyonce was nominated for a rock Grammy. You know, for the When You Love Me, Don't Hurt Yourself, to Hurt Yourself record. So, you know, it's a lot of people who feel jazz musicians feel like their music is represented on radio. The conscious rappers feel like they aren't represented on radio. Everybody doesn't feel like they're being represented, right? So, you know, you have to kind of go where they are getting shown love. So this is just R&B. It's everything. You know, a rapper from the 90s is going to complain that only mumble rap is on the radio. So it's just new times. All right, give me a few more questions before we wrap up. Somebody put, is R&B not being played on mainstream radio a proponent to label issues, or fans just being low-key incompetent? That's a good question. I don't know about label issues for R&B. People always speak about agendas, and the biggest thing with labels that they want to make money. So if they could sell soap and make $1 million, they would. So in order to direct labels into promoting the artists that you like and signing artists that you like, you have to support the artist, okay? Trinidad James got a $1 million deal from Def Jam because he had like 20 million views on YouTube. Those views that come out of nowhere, the fans did it. They were, you know, they were in love with his style and in love with, you know, his swag or whatever, and they thought the song was catchy, and some people thought it was funny and still shared it, which we got to be careful of doing. We'll share videos that we think are horrible, but won't share stuff we think are dope. So we'll share a video to make fun of it, not realizing that we're increasing the views of it, which expands their platform, and it's one of the reasons why they get record deals, like Trinidad James, like Krayshawn, and all those other people who got $1 million deals, and they're gone. So if we like something, we should support it. So get behind it. You know, get behind artists, support them. And once they pop online, they're gonna get those big record deals. They're gonna get those big pushes on radio. So the fans or music consumers have the most power. A label agenda is to make money. So if you tell them that a song is dope by looking at it, by viewing it, by paying for a ticket, that's what they're gonna promote. So we hold the power. If you don't promote it and just complain, then that doesn't do anybody any good. You know, Jasmine Sullivan should have no reason. She should go gold every time she puts out an album. She should go platinum. Kiki Wyatt, all these people that we love, champion, they should go platinum every time the album comes out. They have millions of Instagram followers and millions of Twitter followers, but they still don't do those major numbers. But they'll be complaining the R&B's not being represented. But like, when's the last Jill Scott album that you bought? You know what I'm saying? Like, when's the last time you checked out something that Kelly Price was doing? You know what I'm saying? How many times did you go check out Fantasia at her tour? You know? But yet we want to say how much we hate Beyonce and she isn't R&B and Rihanna and all these other people, but you're saying your hate more than that you're displaying your love for other artists. So don't blame the label, blame us. Because a lot of these people don't necessarily need labels anyway. They just need us to support them. And that's just financially, that's word of mouth, that's all of that. So I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Rock music was started by Black folks. Okay, Morgan, you went over. You missed it. You missed it. Morgan just went over the top. She missed it. Are you feeling Young M.A.'s new single "Hot Sauce"? It's cool. Young M.A. is cool. I like her. I gotta see some more first before I, rank her. But yeah, I like Young M.A. She's dope. Miles, but I know a lot of artists you mentioned. Good. Your ears to the street, my brother. Do you feel like legacies of Tina Turner, Chuck Berry, or Little Richard get overlooked? Morgan, you always ask me if somebody's overlooked. Listen, if you know that they're dope, there's no way they can be overlooked. It's like when people say all the time, Angela Bassett is underrated. And I'm like, well, everybody keeps saying that Angela Bassett is overrated. How is she overrated? We all keep saying it. Like, if we all keep saying something, then it's like we all know it. So if we all know it, how are they underrated? Like Chuck Berry and Little Richard and Tina Turner. Like, I would say maybe Chuck Berry's probably is not represented. It's a little bit older artist. But Little Richard, if you know anything about rock and roll music or doo-wop, you know Little Richard. If you know anything about R&B and rock and soul and funk, you know Tina Turner. At least you know a little bit to do with it. It's cool. I made that Angela Bassett reference. But yeah, it's like if we all know who they are, then how are they underappreciated or get overlooked? So no, I don't think so. I think the Black community, in general, knows who these people are. They might know all the records or the hits, but they definitely know them. So. Here, that's why I don't share bad music. Talib put "Is New York back?" I don't know if New York ever really left. I don't know if any region leaves. I know there's Designer and Young M.A. and other people from New York that are making music, and Remy Ma and Nicki's been there. But I really feel like that whole regional hip hop thing is probably over for that. I mean, with the exception of like Toronto and Atlanta. But no, I feel more music now because of streaming, because of the internet, is more international. I have a playlist where I'm playing, Ray Black from London mixed in with Jazz Cartier from Toronto, with Ty Dolla $ign, from LA. So it's like, it's all the mix of one. It's all the melting pot now. I don't feel like we need one region to dominate anymore like back in the day. I feel that was more driven by radio. But now radio isn't leading the pack. Radio's kind of catching up with what's going on. So I don't think we really need, we don't need a region to dominate anymore. So I think New York has dope artists. I think LA has dope artists. Atlanta, Alabama, Toronto, London, Paris. I think there's great artists everywhere. So I don't think New York is necessarily back. I think we definitely have more New York rappers now that are in the front of the scene. But the internet is such a connective tissue that I don't feel like necessarily we need New York to be back. I just feel like we need, just more great artists like usual. So we're gonna ask me what's my favorite region of hip hop. If I'm being honest, it would probably be New York. I was born in 1984. By the time I was in elementary school, I was listening to Nas and Raekwon and Redman and Busta Rhymes and Biggie and Redman and all these great New York artists. So, and being from Virginia, we wouldn't have a sound at that time. So, I mean, a lot of us, if you grew up in the 90s, you love New York hip hop. You know, I think that's been my favorite. But I've loved artists from all over. You know, my top 10 consists of people from LA, Chicago, Detroit, you know, Atlanta, and all those places in between, and of course, Virginia. But, you know, in terms of hip hop, New York is the leading factor in that. Andrew asked me, do you think that Designer and Young M.A have staying power? Um, I don't know yet. I don't know. Um, if I had to pick, I think Young M.A may stay longer than Designer, just based on the simple fact that I'm a bars person. And that's totally fine if you're not a bars person and you just want the you know what? Designer reminds me. Have you ever seen Police Academy? You ever seen Police Academy? Is that one cop that's doing all the sounds? That's what Designer reminds me of. But no, I think in terms of bars, I think Young M.A, you know, I've heard more bars from her, but Designer, you never know. But this new generation now, it's more based upon flow, not necessarily bars. So Designer may outlast Young M.A. You know, every time you turn around, Designer has another song that people are feeling. So, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Andrew, but I think it's great to have a particular sound for different regions. Nobody has to dominate, but it's lazy that everything sounds the same. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's tough for a region to dominate because, you know, artists are so influenced by everything. So, you know, perfect example would be Jay-Z's Magna Carta. Jay-Z had trap beats, he had samples, he was talking about art, he was talking about street and trapping. So it's even hard for even one artist to have a sound that's like a region. You know, if you think about Designer, or you think about even Kanye or Big Sean. Big Sean sounds kind of like an LA feel. You know, the I Don't F With You song, that was like a Bay Area sound. So it's going to be hard for any artist to completely just represent one region when the music is so universal. So it's tough. You could have 5 artists from New York, and those 5 artists sound like they're from everywhere. And it's hard to limit people to just one particular sound. I think back in the day, you had more of that because you didn't have the internet. Your ear to the street, your barometer of what was hot was your neighborhood. But now, your barometer of what is hot is the internet. So you're not going to be able to just have a Brooklyn sound, you know? And I'm not mad at it as long as it's dope. Um, Turner put, what's your opinion on Voice to 5'9"'s freestyles? I got the keys and wait a minute. Voice to 5'9" is fire. Voice to 5'9" is one of my top 10 favorite MCs. He may not be the most commercially, you know, commercially successful artist, but his flow is incredible. Any person that's on par with Eminem, or sometimes even bested Eminem on songs consistently, you have to love. So Voice of 5'9" is definitely one of my favorite MCs. When he rhymes, then he just gives me goosebumps. Pause. So yeah, Crunk Girl put Jazz Cartier should be next up. Yeah, Jazz Cartier is dope, man. That Tempted record is crazy. I love his whole vibe. All right, let me get like 3 more questions and I'm up out of here, man. Sierra signed to Warner Brothers now. Shout out to Warner Brothers. Good folks over there. Good folks. Top 10 R&B groups. Jeez, Miles D. Top 10 R&B groups. Off the top of my head, top 10 male and female. No order. No order. I'm gonna do 10. No order. Jackson's, New Edition, Jodeci, Boyz II Men, True Hill, Destiny's Child, SWV, In Vogue, Temptations, and I'm trying to think of another girl group. Um, mm, mm, I don't know. That was a group that was dope. What I want to say TLC, man, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I do not know. I don't know. TLC, why not? TLC. TLC, why not? There you go. 10 R&B groups. Bam, boom. I mean, you could say that the Supremes, but like I'm not like Supremes. I mean, in terms of their legacy, yeah, I'm not like just bumping Supremes going to work. So, my Speaker Box or Love Below. Um, Love Below, Love Below. Um, Country music is the only genre that's selling. That's not true. That's not true. Views, Drake's views did 1,000,000 in 1 week. Frank Ocean did like 300K. Beyonce did like 500K. Taylor Swift, does 1 million out the gate. She does pop music. I think country music is the most represented on radio. There's actually more country music radio stations than any other station in the country. But no, country music is the only music that's selling. No, 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 no. Beyonce can't be labeled, honestly. I don't know about that either. I think regardless of whatever the beat is, Beyonce's core is going to be R&B. Formation isn't a pop record. It's just popular. Britney Spears, Sometimes I Run, Sometimes I Cry, Sometimes I'm Scared of You. It's pop. Backstreet Boys, Now Let Me Show You the Shape of My Heart. It's pop. 98 Degrees, I Do. It's pop. NSYNC, Bye 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 is pop. Drunken Love is not that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Single Ladies is not that. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think pop is a negative term. I love pop music. I think there's the pop genre of music, and there's just popular music. And I think Beyonce is popular. I don't think she's pop. I don't think she's Katy Perry. I don't think she's Taylor Swift. I think Beyonce's voice is soulful, and the core of her albums is simply R&B. 4 is an R&B album. B-Day is an R&B album. Lemonade, I mean, for the most part, it had different genres in it. But even with Sorry and Hold Up, and Pray You Catch Me, and All Night, and Love Drought, those were R&B songs. You know what I'm saying? So, So let's say, but calling pop is not a diss. Definitely, there's just pop style music, chord wise and note wise. Then there's like popular music. I think that's different. All right, give me 2 more questions before I'm out. Why do y'all want to box artists you don't like and so bad? Not me. Not me. I just kind of pick. I don't want to say a box. I just pick genres based on people that I like. Like Bruno Mars. If you think about 24 Karat, like what would you classify that? Is that a pop record? Is that R&B? You know what I'm saying? His album was more New Jack Swing, and New Jack Swing, this has been really categorized as a merger of R&B and hip hop. So, but primarily back in the New Jack Swing era, New Jack Swing was considered R&B mostly because it was driven. It had hip hop beats that were driven by R&B vocals. So yeah, Bobby Brown singing and rapping, but Bobby Brown wasn't a rapper; he was a singer rapping. Just like Drake. Drake's a rapper that sings. So it's pretty much whatever your core is to me. All right, give me one more. Have you heard about the Rough Rider reunion tour? Yeah, I have. Actually, the Rough Rider tour is going to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Swiss, DMX, Eve, I think Dragon, DMX, Locks, all that. So yeah, I may go, man. After that Swiss Beats battle, I'm like, man, they had more hits than I forgot about. I lived through that, and I forgot so many hits. So yeah, I probably go to that. So anyway, my camera has died. Sorry, my phone has died. So shout out to all my Facebook people that was watching, that are no longer watching now. Shout out to you guys. And shout out to everybody who's kind of been supporting the show. I have some ideas that I want to do with this show to make it even pop more. I'm contemplating. But I want to ask you guys a question. If this show was on a different channel, let's say it wasn't on, let's say this show right now wasn't on BMOC TV. Let's say it was on somewhere else. Would you guys still watch? That's my question to you. If this show was on a completely different channel, would you still tune in? If I can make this show bigger, is this show going to pop? I'm just saying, if this show was on a different YouTube channel, but we promoted it more, it went more viral, if it was on a bigger platform, would you still tune in? If you would still tune in, that may help my decision. So we'll see. I would. Perfect. And I can use this show as a platform to help boost up some of these artists we've been talking about, and boost up some indie artists, bring some of my people who work in the music industry to talk. Would you guys still check this out? So I'm thinking right now, I'm contemplating, but definitely by the end of this month, I'm gonna see. Yeah, the channel doesn't matter as long as the show is good. Yeah, you are a great host no matter what. Thank you, Turner. I appreciate it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Bigger and better things. Speaking of which, if you guys want to learn more about the music industry, check out my website, Live the Biz. That's livethe.biz. It's pretty much my company where I've kind of built up networking panels where I actually interview executives from all across different labels. So I have actually, our last event was called Getting Signed. It was an A&R panel at A&Rs from Atlantic Records, Rock Nation, Warner Chappell, Razor and Ties. You know, it was a great event. My next event this month is going to be lit. I don't want to say who I have involved, but it's a marketing and branding event coming up at the end of this month, and it's going to be lit. And I have about 7 more events I'm going to do at the Core Club, sponsored, powered by Billboard. So that's what's up. Morgan said, "Don't stop making videos." Oh, I won't. What I'm asking now is actually bigger. You'll probably see even more videos if I do what I'm thinking about. And I'm leaning more in that direction, but we'll see in the next few weeks. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. If you want to support more, check us out here, youtube.com/BMOCTV for now. Check out us in the groups, facebook.com/groups/BMOCTV. Stay tuned for that Remy Ma Papoose diss. I think Remy Ma and Papoose gonna team up. I'm just joking. Who knows? Nicki said she had 72 hours. I think tomorrow's gonna make 72 hours. Well, unless Nicki Minaj was including daylight saving time. I don't know if she's including that. And they got me look out, you know. It's still gonna be tomorrow, I guess. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, that's it. Oh, she put, will we still have Deshaunus and friends? Of course, absolutely. Deshaunus is my dude, man. Shout out to Deshaunus. And Drew, of course, Jamie, Donita, of course, Tyra, of course. Definitely the core people will still be involved. By all means, trust me, they will still be involved. Any change that happens is not because of them. I'm gonna bring everybody with me. Anybody who helped make this channel pop, anybody who helped me make this show pop, will be coming with me. I'll be giving them actually more to do if they want to do it. So, all right, that's it. I'm BMOC. You guys have a great night. Yeah, peace.